What's up, man? It's been forever, dude. Oh, you know, doing a little fast right now, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You fast?
No. I do my 5 meals a day.
Hell yeah, dude.
Breakfast, then midday snack, which is typically like a protein shake.
You used to fast, didn't you?
Mm-mm.
No, never did?
Mm-mm.
I used to fast. Like, when I was really muscular, I used to fast, but I stopped. I actually lost more weight just doing like the three or 4 meals a day. Sorry, I'm still out of breath. Had to chase my dog. I'm still out of breath. Not enough cardio, Vast. This is why I need to lose weight. But I feel like I liked fasting because I felt like I got bigger.
Yep.
But I also I'm a big eater. You know what I mean?
Dude, I love food.
That's what I'm saying.
I love food.
And I'm a stocky guy. I gain muscle, but I gain fat easy. So it's like if I eat 3 meals a day, it's just not realistic that I'm gonna stick to like 3 or 4 small, not small, but medium-sized meals, because I know myself and I know I want a big-ass dinner. You know what I mean? Or a big-ass breakfast. So, I mean, I don't know, dude. I like fasting all day and then having just like 1 or 2 meals, because then I can eat big. And also, when you fast, like, your stomach is like shrunken enough to where it's like,
you gotta be careful with fasting too, because your body, if you're not doing it correctly, your body will start to eat its own muscle, and then the food that you eat after you're done fasting just gets put on as fat.
100%.
So.
I think I have enough fat on me. I think I'll be all right, though.
I think you look fine.
I look okay. I think I have enough belly fat. I don't think I got to worry about it getting to my muscle yet. I think I got a good...
Dad bods are in, man.
Yeah, hey, chicks love the dad bods, dude. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know what it is.
But no, before we keep going, man, I just wanted to say, I want to commend you, because during this whole COVID stuff, man, there's a lot of people that aren't doing shit, dude. And you starting this, I just want to say I'm proud of you.
Thanks, bro.
I'm excited to see what it turns into. You are literally one of my favorite people on this planet.
You as well.
That's
you as
honest.
well. Thank you. Thank you.
I've missed you so much.
Dude.
I have not seen you. I have not seen you like over, what has it been, like a year and a half?
Dude, it had been a year and a half, 2 years. I feel like we ran into each other at one point.
Nope.
No, we didn't. It was probably just the gym, and then that's it.
That was it, man. As soon as I left, that was pretty much it.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you as well, man. I loved the project, dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was dope.
That was definitely an experience.
So to go back before I start on that, a lot of people aren't doing anything. They're using COVID as an excuse, and I was a little bit for a while, but once things started opening back up halfway, and I've just been like, well, I want to do something. But I will say there's either a lot of people rapping or a lot of podcasts, because a lot of the mics are gone. Like a 250-mile radius, gone.
Well, and also I would say too, so to that point, a lot of people say all people do is rap and podcast now, when really, if you were to put your phone down and you don't log on at all, then you wouldn't see it anywhere. You would
100%.
see people doing a whole bunch of different shit. It's just that we're on our phones all the time, and we love to look for the entertainment. So of course it looks like that's what everyone.
Well, that's the thing, is like how many friends of yours are doing it. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone knows someone with like I don't really know that many people with podcasts. I know some people who have podcasts. Actually, particularly girls. I know a lot of girls with some podcasts, like about crime and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. I still need to look into it. But I know more people rapping, which, hey man, I mean, shit, if you're doing something, I hate when people say that.
As long as you're doing something that you love, man. Like, it's for real. Like, then who gives a fuck?
Right. Well, and it's also those things, not to interrupt you, my bad. It's like, when people, they shit on you, oh, everyone's doing this. Well, I was like, well, what are you doing, dude?
Exactly. What the fuck are you doing?
Right. Right.
So, bro, a lot of people have a lot of shit to say. And really, they don't be doing shit. And it's just one of those things, man. Like, if it makes you happy, fuck them. Like, that has been my favorite motto forever.
Yeah.
It's just, but no, definitely making this project, man, was definitely an experience. But
what? Okay, so I got a question. Look, so why Stranger Things? Why'd you pick that?
First off, one of my favorite shows of all time.
Okay.
I love the sound scoring on it, the
Oh, it's amazing.
soundtracks,
Yeah.
the lights, the time period, the everything, bro.
Yeah.
It makes me feel like I'm diving into that little kid imagination
Right.
again that I got, like when, Christmas time came around,
Right.
or when Halloween, or when any season, like it adds a season to my life watching it. And I love that show. But so the project was called an appropriation project. So essentially, what my goal was, I had to take 10 different forms of media, so 10 different videos of just something that already exists, and combine them together and make a whole new narrative out of already an existing narrative. So the first thing that I watched, that I was, because I was coming up with ideas, I was watching what's that movie called, Killing Him Softly, with Brad Pitt.
Dude, I didn't like that movie.
You didn't?
No, I did. I watched it a long time ago. I couldn't get into
it. It was very underwhelming, I'll say that. Until
very
the end.
slow. The ending's great. I remember the ending.
The ending is what inspired this, actually.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
like, when Brad Pitt was, talking about America being a business.
Yeah.
And then also, talking about, how Thomas Jefferson owned slaves and all this other shit. And I was like, you know what, Kyron, like, out of everything, like, that goes on in my life, like, I was struggling with ideas, like, let me just make something inspired off of that, And my dad is a detective.
Right.
He's been a cop for a very long time.
Right.
So making this was definitely it was difficult.
Right.
But so back onto how that scene inspired this was, I was like, okay, well, what can I do? I can definitely, like, some of the first idea was, like, maybe adding all these different news clips of the shit that's happening in 2020 and all this other stuff. I'm like, no,
Right.
that's not really what. So then I focused, okay, kind of what bothers you every day? Like, what do you feel like you have something to say about? So I was like, I have a whole new perspective on the police brutality form than a lot of people do, because I grew up with a father in that. So
Right.
that's where I spawned from. I was like, okay, I can start with there. I definitely know I want to use a TV. That was one thing. I was like, I know I want to use a TV. So now what can I use? And then the first thing that popped in my head was that scene from Stranger Things.
Right.
Where Eleven is literally switching the TV with her mind and everything. So I was like, I can make 11 watch these clips of just everything that's happening.
That's
and
awesome.
And then I expired. It was a gold mine at the end, because I like making my shit like a triple, like quadruple entendre. So like with this video, man, I had I wanted people to get from what they got from it. Like, and then talk to me about it.
Keep going.
Okay. So
I'll
definitely.
splice it together.
So when I say gold mine, I'm not talking about the material in itself. I'm talking about, so when I'm saying gold mine, I'm talking about, like, so towards the end of that scene that I was using, Hopper, the cop, came over and unplugged the TV. So I was like, oh, that's good.
Right.
That I was like, okay, I definitely can use this now, because I always wanted to make this is one of the meanings behind this project. If you haven't watched it yet, please go watch it, because I want you guys to get all, like, what you get from it before I kind of explain, like, some stuff that I put into it. So I was like, I've never made a project to put it in perspective of what it's like growing up with a cop as a father in these times. So there has definitely been moments like that where I'm watching the news, or whatever it may be, of another black person gunned down, another person gunned down, and then my dad walks to the door in his badge and his police uniform. And I look at him. I've never been angry at him like I made 11 in this, but it's more of, that's definitely happening. Like, and it definitely caused, like, I pray to God that he doesn't end up on the news one day. Just like I know there's a black family out there that prays to God, like, their uncle, their brother, their son, their dad doesn't end up on there either. So there's these whole just conflicts of shit, and I literally made a post. That's, like, so cool, and everything. And so that was just one part of it that I made, right? Another part of it too was, like, you can take it as, this is all you see on the media every day. Every day. Like, the media is literally feeding this to you, and it doesn't change the fact that it happened. Like, I texted my dad. I had to warn him. Like, hey, I just made something. I don't want you to be caught off guard. And he just responded with, as long as it's factual. And I think I did a pretty good job at that.
Yeah,
100%. There was no, like, it was literally all, like, this shit happened. some of this shit people forgot about.
Right.
How, like, what are you getting? So there's so much more that my head's going 1,000 miles a minute. Never done a podcast before, by the way.
This is great, dude. You're passionate about it. It's awesome watching you, like, how you formed the idea and just seeing how passionate you were about it. That's crazy, dude.
So I'll say, because I don't want our whole conversation, you know, I'll say this too, like, so I originally wasn't going to release it, right? I wasn't going to bring it out because I was like, I don't want to disappoint my dad. Like,
right.
What if this gets interpreted the wrong way,
right,
coming from a white dude? Like, what if it just gets interpreted the wrong way?
Right.
And I was so worried about that, but then I presented it to my class, and literally the whole time, because we have class on Zoom, right, because of COVID and everything, the whole time while kids are presenting their projects, no one says anything. No one's really saying anything about other kids' projects. Like, no one's feeling like motivated to talk about someone's project. Right. It's mainly just the same 2 or 3 kids. Like, I'll throw out stuff out there too, because I'm just talking personally.
Right.
But when I showed mine, and I premiered it for the first time, there was a silence. But then everyone went. One kid went. Second kid went. Third kid went. Fourth kid went.
You shook
started
the room
talking
a
about
little
it.
bit, yeah.
And then also my professor had something to say about everyone's project. But she said for mine, she goes, Kyron, I did have a critique, but after watching it, I understand. So she didn't even have a critique for it. And one kid, he goes, he got this from me. He goes, I love how you chose Stranger Things because that is a very popular TV show that people binge. And literally every day we're binging these videos of people getting killed, of black people getting killed, and it almost seems like a TV show now. It doesn't seem real. And when he said that, I was like, holy fuck. Because when I was editing, I was watching it, like, for example, the Walter Scott. The Walter Scott one was when the dude was running away, and the cop shot in the back, like, 6, 7 times.
Right.
I literally was yelling at the computer, like, why?
Right.
Why? And when you edit, man, and you'll discover this when you get more into it, you're watching something over and over and over. So all the clips I included, man, hearing the sounds, hearing the shots, hearing everything, it was so hard, man, and it was so difficult. And it's like, this is reality. Like, this is facts. This shit happened. Like, and so that was probably the most difficult part for me making this. And it was just like, okay, after getting that after him saying that, and then the more I started editing, I started to get numb to it. Like, I started to, now, because I've watched it so many times. And that kid's
point really lined up with yours about how we see it all the time, and you're just numb to seeing that shit.
All the time, man. And people, like, so, for example, Richard, right? Richard, I don't know if you remember Richard.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you guys still talk. You guys are good buddies.
I'll get more into this too, because we talked about it before we got here. He is the prime reason why I think I'm still here. Because in the moment when we were all at the gym together, me and him were personal training, you were at the front desk. Yeah. It was the darkest period in my entire life.
Oh, I know. I could tell.
And I was on the brink. Like, a lot of people don't know this.
Keep going.
And so I sent it to him. And me and him had private conversations before. And he says that he didn't know what to say. And he said that he felt like it added hatred, you know, saying that he knows that law enforcement isn't perfect all the time. And he thinks it just added fuel to the hatred. I go, promise me, man, that was not my intention when making this. I was not trying to add fuel to the fire for cops to be hated. Because, again, I have a different perspective. If every cop were like my father, I believe this nation wouldn't have problems. If every cop were like Scotty Duman, if every cop were like, I call him my Uncle Jeremy, if every cop was like Officer Nicole Walter, our black female officer for our school, amazing woman, like, if every cop were like Richard, you know, like, truly, I think they would, bro, it would be so much better. The problem is, man, like, cops get 6 months of training,
it's
and
bullshit.
that's it.
It's bullshit. It needs to be at least like,
and we're giving them a gun,
right?
And it's just like my favorite thing ever to describe this, because I know some people might be heated right now because they're misinterpreting what I'm saying, but
no, I think you're explaining it well.
Is the Chris Rock skit where he's talking about how He goes, I don't think we pay officers enough. And you get what you pay for. Like, and he goes, you can't say a job is like a police law enforcement when there's a few bad apples. Mm-hmm. There's some jobs that just can't have bad apples. Like pilots.
Yep.
Pilots, you can't just be like, well, three out of these 4 planes are going to land today. Mm-hmm. You know? Because then what's going to happen when that plane crashes? People stop going to that airlines. People stop trusting it. You know, pilots can't fuck up.
Yeah.
You can't
just a
fuck
job
up.
You just can't. That
so
can't happen.
You know, as a cop signing up for this, you can't fuck up.
Right.
Do I believe there's racist fucking cops out there?
100%.
Yes, yeah. 100%. There is blatantly still racism out there. I go to school in the mid fucking West. Mm-hmm. I hear some shit that makes me want to fight people on the daily for the racist shit that comes out of their mouth. Mm-hmm. Do I believe that some of these issues, I don't believe they were racially involved? More of that dumb motherfucker should have never gotten a gun and a badge in the first place. 100%. Do I believe that there is amazing officers out there that would do shit for people that they don't know that a lot of people wouldn't do? 100%.
Right.
You know, and these were all thoughts that were going into when I was making this. You know.
Not to cut you off, because
go ahead.
I let you go because you're on a roll and I loved it, and I love how passionate you are. First off, you're saying I think that I want to say 80 to 90% of what people think. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like literally what you're saying is like obviously maybe not all of them were racist. Maybe they just shouldn't have a gun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of racist ones out there. There's a lot of good ones. If some of them, if more of them like your dad, Richard, all the other officers you named, we wouldn't have this problem. Mm-hmm. The Chris Rock joke, I know what you're talking about. I agree 100%. I want to back up real quick. Because, like I said, I wanted you to keep going. Because I loved it. There's good stuff right here. Fucking love it. But when I listened to watch the thing, I know what you were talking about with the sound. And because I was at a gas station and I was like, I gotta check this out. Well, my Bluetooth's connected to my phone. My volume's turned up all the way, and I'm watching it, and then I had to like look over real quick to make sure that someone almost hit me. I look down, and all of a sudden it's pop, 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 and I'm like, oh fuck! And then my phone dropped because I got a little nervous because my radio was up. I was trying to find my phone, and then I'm hearing all of the videos that you edited inside of it, right? All these people getting shot, and it is like, and my windows were up, so it's even louder, and it was like, then I finally got my phone, I turned it down, I watched the whole thing, and I was like, that was fucking terrifying. Yeah. And I remember thinking when I was listening to it, like, holy shit, this dude sat there editing, because like what you're saying, I took IB film, I know how, like, editing is just over and over and over. I was like, thought about it, I was like, this guy sat there. Like, that takes balls. It takes heart to sit there and edit all of that noise. And not even, at first I wasn't even looking at it because my phone fell. And just hearing and seeing that over and over again, like I was getting emotional just hearing it when my phone dropped. Then watching it, it moved me, which is why I think that a lot of those people had something to say in your class and your teacher as well. But like I said, I was like, I can't believe this guy did that. I can't believe he sat there and edited all of these videos and just stuck through it. Man. God, because like I said, I wanted to tell you that, and it was like something I was like, I gotta tell him about this because, for one, the video was cool because it moved me. For two, because of how it happened, I was like, oh my God, dude. And that's when I was like, dude, you need to be on this podcast. I need to hear you talk about this,
man.
Dude.
It's back to the, like, it's one of those things, right? So there's a common argument, and I want to debunk this because I'm also doing this podcast right now too because I want to post it because I have a lot of family members that are like support Blue and everything, right? 100%. That are like, Kyron, what was your intent with this? I go, right. I will explain it more in detail. Trust me, because I could type like 3 to 4 pages, right? About this type of stuff.
Yeah, go ahead, dude. Explain everything.
So, like, back to, like, the playing theory, right? So, I am done keeping my tongue quiet. Like, I want to say this flat out. Like, if you are a white person and you are offended by the phrase Black Lives Matter, you're a puss. You're a puss. I don't fuck with you. Like, it is one of those things. Black people had to go through life, not even their choice being black, looking at water fountains saying that they couldn't drink there. Literally signs on buses that saying you got to sit your ass in the back. You can't handle seeing Black Lives Matter on an NBA court.
Right.
Like, that's one. Number two, I see, to debunk also this too, like, I see arguments like, well, Black Lives Matter, look at this. This white kid was gunned down by police. Da 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 da. Okay, first off, asshole. You're literally proving the point.
Right.
That there are pilots out there crashing fucking planes.
Mm-hmm.
I could have easily, 100%, in this video, put in all the good shit that cops do. Because they do some amazing shit.
Right.
There's some heroic shit that they do. But none of that matters if planes are still crashing. You could have a pilot land a plane safely in the ocean. No one hurt. But yeah, when I got 3 pilots over here and just crashing planes into buildings or in the mountains,
Right.
what does that matter?
Right.
Right now we still got people crashing.
Right.
We can't focus on the saving yet because people are crashing and people are hurting. Like, that is also another thing too, that people get like, just like, one of the first things my parents ever taught me was you can't ever tell somebody how they should feel. Because that's them.
Right.
You are in no position to tell anybody you shouldn't fucking feel that way. So when you got black people turning on their TVs and exactly what you saw in this project, this is all that they see. You can't help. I don't understand how you can't understand why they would be mad or upset or feel like cops are out to get them or people are out to get them.
Right.
It's all about putting yourself in their shoes, man. And
100%.
it's like, dude, just some jobs you can't fuck up.
I agree.
Like, I remember, this is also another good example. Do you know how many, like, when cops would come to elementary school, right? Like, have you ever had a cop come to your elementary school?
Yeah.
What is one of the first thing kids ask them? Have you ever used your gun?
Yeah. Right.
That is one of the main questions everyone always asks.
Right.
Someone asked that to my pops when he came to my high school because he was showing off all his SWAT and everything and talking about what it's like to be a detective. Have you ever pulled your gun? Cops will say, no, I never had to pull it in my entire career. But yet, for some of these officers, they feel the need when a person is running away from them. Or they didn't have the proper training just to take the guy down and just handle it in the first place. And yet they pull it.
Right.
Like, this career that I'm choosing, video, right? If I fuck up, I'm not ending someone's life.
There's a big difference.
There's a big difference,
100%.
man. With cops, man, like, if you fuck up, it's people's lives at stake, and you know that going in.
Right.
So, it's just...
Well, and that's the thing is I talked to my buddy on the last podcast about this, where it's like, and almost everyone agrees, and I hate social media because everything gets misinterpreted, and that's why I love podcasts, because I could sit here, I could watch your video and get misinterpreted all day, right? But that's the point of it. It's art. It's to take what I want from it. But then when I hear you explain, no, this is what I mean. Just like a post, you say whatever your opinion is on a post, but then you see them on Facebook, you go, no, that's not right. Then you see him talk to you in person, and you're like, okay, we have more in common than what you think. Right. And that might have been off topic, but with the training thing, it's like, dude, you see cops obese, and I know that has not a lot to do with it, but it's like, if cops were more trained, and even cops, I'm sure your dad would even agree that cops need way more training.
Oh, dude, cops would
way
100.
more training.
I feel like every cop that I would talk to would 100% agree that more training would be useful. And also, a lot of cops are not opposed to being forced to wear body cams, because body cams is the only thing that saves their ass in certain situations.
Yeah, well, if sorry, not to interrupt you,
well,
if someone pulls a gun on them, and they have to shoot them. They're in a situation where they have to shoot. They have a body cam on. They have proof right there. You know what I mean? I mean, and it's like, I don't know, dude. It's ridiculous.
It's like, it's the lack of understanding for me. Because I feel like that's where everything's getting fucked up, is the understanding part. Like, the fact that you question Black Lives Matter as a white man and question why black people feel attacked when you have fucking KKK rallies in Charlottesville and one video that I watched over and over again, I didn't include it, was a little black kid with glasses literally crying on the side of the road while these KK members are marching across, like asking like why,
Right.
why, you know,
Yeah.
like in America, man, like when Thomas Jefferson wrote all men are created equal, he owned slaves.
Right.
Like this shit didn't happen too long ago.
Yeah.
There are grandparents out there that still like look at the views like of back in the day. There's
Right.
some racist fucking asshole people
Right.
out there. Like
100%.
it still exists, and the seeds of these people still exist. And some of these seeds of people are becoming cops. Some of these seeds of people are becoming in higher power. That is why black people feel attacked, because they are being attacked
Right.
in certain situations. And it's just the lack of just understanding baffles me, and the fucking just taking it so personally, like, oh, my life matters too. Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
it does. That's not what they're saying.
That's
Yeah.
not what they're exactly. That's not what they're saying.
The best
man.
sign I ever saw was like being pro-black doesn't mean being anti-white.
Yeah.
And I was like, God, if I could show that to all the, I mean, not even just all the white people that I know who don't understand. And I'll tell you why I believe that they don't understand. Maybe not, I mean, maybe not all, but you know who Theo Vaughn is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the comedian. He's hilarious, right? He talks, there's this one podcast I watched of him, and he goes, man, you know, it actually, when I was younger, it was hard for me to understand white privilege, because when you're poor and white in a small white town, and you go out of that source, you, in the way you dress, the way you act, you get treated like shit, right? You feel like you're not privileged. Don't get me wrong, obviously they are, because it takes time to understand, like, okay, well, oh yeah, okay, I see what they mean. Like, I have a privilege for being white, but I have disadvantages because of where I come from, right? And that's what black people are trying to say is like, no, dude, like, just because, like, yeah, you could get profiled being white, right? But that doesn't mean that they're obviously not profiling you by your color. They're profiling by something completely different.
Right.
And that's what I try to explain to family members and stuff like that, especially, like, you know, family members that I have. I mean, I've had family members that are just dirt poor, and family members who just, those are usually the ones who don't understand, right? Because they're like, what the fuck? And that's their view is like, what the fuck? I'm fucking here on food stamps. I'm here on, you know, I have to get on welfare. I have to get on that. You know, I don't have a job. Right.
Everyone who's not part of the movement is taking it personal and just not understanding what the real message is.
Right.
You know?
And that's where they're coming from with that. And I'm like, look. I try to tell you, look, you guys don't understand because you feel like you're not privileged, right? You never felt like you were privileged. You felt like you got the bad end of the stick. You were born poor. You know what I mean? Everyone shitted on you. The way you look, the way you talk, your education was bad. You feel like shit. You feel like being a poor white person, you don't have privilege, right? And at some extent, no, you don't. You don't have the same privilege that a rich person does, right? But you still have white privilege. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, okay, when you get profiled by a cop, if you do get profiled, you're getting profiled by you're not getting profiled by the color of your skin. You're getting profiled by something completely different. How you dress, how you talk, how you act. Some black people are getting profiled just by being black.
Dude, man, like, I truly believe after watching the Castile video over and over again, man, that, first off, that officer should never have a badge and gun in the first place. That's one. Number two,
right.
After watching it over and over and over again, Castile did everything right. Everything right. That was the one where he was like, officer, I'm a gun owner.
Right.
I have my permit on me. And the officer was like, don't pull it out. And he wasn't. He was literally just pulling out his driver's license. And his daughter was in the backseat. You know? I truly don't think if that man was white that officer would have shot.
Yeah, I had an argument with a family member about this. I said, and I think there was like, oh, he was high. I said, dude.
What does it matter?
Have you ever smoked weed? You don't give a fuck. Like, that doesn't happen.
None of that shit matters.
Like, and he said.
That's also like the most recent one. I'm sorry, I forgot his name and I don't want to butcher it. But the most recent one where he's walking to his car and the cop put 6 or 7 shots in his back. First off, the argument was, well, he should have listened to police. Okay, why can't, if he's not listening to the police, there's 3 to 4 officers there, tackle him.
Yeah.
Tackle him, put him down. You have so many other weapons other than your pistol. If you really feel threatened, to neutralize the situation, the fact that you let him walk all the way around to the van, it's almost like you were looking for an excuse.
Right. Yeah, I actually had that one specifically when he shot him in the back. That one, and you know, there's 4 of them. They're trying to drag him out of the car. I've had a lot of, not arguments, but disagreements with people. Some arguments, actually, where I was like, well, dude, there's 4 fucking cops. There's one guy. Not to mention, he's not that big of a guy, right? You know, and you can tackle him before he gets into a car, right? He gets in a car, well, and they're, well, he was reaching in his car. What if he was grabbing a gun? Okay, well, guess what? You had a good 1, 2, 3, a good 10, 12, 15 seconds to tackle him before he even reached in the car.
Yeah.
You know, and I argue with people that, and I like a lot of friends I had actually were like, well, I understand because he could have been reaching for a gun. I said, dude, look at the story. He was trying to break up a fight or whatever, right? Or something like that. And then, you know, he was trying to leave.
It was a domestic violence call.
Right. And then he was trying to leave, and they were telling him to stop. I get he wasn't listening, right? And yeah, he should have, whatever, he should have listened. But at the same time, dude, I'm a cop. I would have not, I confidently can say that for sure, that I would not have shot that guy. I would have tackled him. I think anybody reasonable would have said, I would have tackled him. You had enough time to get him before he even got to your car. And the fact that you have 4 people and you got to shoot one dude, not that it matters, but not even a big guy, you know, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And I that exact argument with people got a lot of people heated. And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. I was like, and then when you say, oh, that happens to white people too, I'm like, well, then you should be mad too. I mean, you should be mad either way. If it's white or black, it doesn't matter. But if it happens to white people, you're using the argument, right?
From police, people die at a 30% higher rate than any country in the world.
Right.
The next country closest to us is Canada.
Right.
And that's still even more North America too.
Right.
So they're like, a big thing that added perspective for me was, because I'm looking to move at New Zealand after I graduate, or moving somewhere out of the country after I graduate, right? I like watching what other people from other countries think about us Americans, right? Think about America in general. Like, and especially ones that say that they visited once or twice. One girl was talking about how petrified she was just because she's not used to seeing officers carry guns. Like, that is something that our nation does different than other ones. Like, officers actually have pistols compared to other countries where cops don't carry guns.
Right.
Unfortunately, cops have to, because America is known for our guns.
I was about to say, we're a very violent country for sure. I think even if, not to interrupt you, I think even if we didn't have guns, I think we'd still be violent, just because I feel like it's generally in our culture.
Yeah,
don't you think?
I don't know, man. It's definitely one of those things you would just have to see. I don't think amount of like speculate. You would definitely have to see how it would play out, you know.
Right.
But that's on that. So, like, as far as like just the project and everything, I don't want to dive too much more deep into
100%.
Because
I
don't
love
want to
the
take
project,
up
man.
the whole time with it, but because I don't want to keep, because there's definitely some more like stuff that I added in it, like different meanings and different things that I still want to give people a chance to
interpret it.
So
100%.
That's like, guess on me right there. I'm going to continue to speak more about this stuff, you know, but I pretty much think now I've gotten the point across, you know, about everything.
I'll definitely, when I post this video, I'll definitely tell people to watch the video first, 100%. So that way they understand, for one, we understand what we're talking about. And if this question is too personal, you don't have to answer, but how does your dad feel about cops? Like, him being a detective, him being a cop, like, what is his opinion on all of this?
So my dad and I, his feeling is, and a lot of things that he tells me, is a lot of people, you know, people need to gain, he feels like people need to gain some perspective on some of them, of course. But then, like with the George Floyd one, he was even calling that cop a piece of shit.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
I think everybody was together on that, you know? Until like 2 weeks later on social media.
My dad and I definitely, we don't talk much about this type of stuff.
Right.
But he's definitely, like I said, man, when I told him that I made this, he just wants to make sure that it's factual. And that's fair.
Right.
You know, that is fair, because it is his job. And, you know, like, I'm sure you can attest to this too. One of the biggest problems too is, like with Twitter and social media and stuff like that, There will be a story literally made from a fucking website I could have made in 2 seconds. And people just posting whatever they wanted on it about something that may have happened.
Right.
All they do is put a picture and boom,
Yeah, it's up.
50,000 likes
Right.
of people thinking that this story is real or whatever it may be. With my dad, man, he just wants to make sure that it's factual, you know. There's been numerous times where he's called some cops just like, yeah, that's not good.
Right.
Like,
he's
that's
a piece
not
of
okay.
shit. Which
Yeah.
is like the George Floyd thing. I talked about this on 2 podcasts ago, or 3. I don't know where I'm at. But he was actually the youngest guy to run for governor. He was 17. He went to my high school. Great dude. Very intelligent. He was in debate, and you could tell the way he talks. He's almost like a young, just a young politician is what it feels like. But fuck, I lost my train of thought. I don't know where I was at with that. But what were we talking about on there? Fuck.
Oh man, no. Let's use this point as like a stopping point. Like, what time are we at right now?
Oh, dude. I mean, we're only at 28 minutes. You want to go an hour, dude?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
like,
I was about to
go
say,
like
yeah, we
an
can
hour
go an
too.
hour too, dude.
But-
What was you just go ahead, dude. I'll come back.
Well, I'll just say, so if y'all haven't got a chance to check out the channel yet, I have 3 projects on there. It's KyroPhantomProductions. I have my first ever short film on there, Connection Story of Melody, which is actually started out as a poem, like, which was really like the poem was like personification. Like, you had to make an inanimate object alive through your poem or whatever it may be, and then came one of my filming classes, and the project title was personification. Like, you gotta make something alive. I was like, oh shit, I already got an idea of what I can do.
Right.
And at the time, man, so a few months prior, my cousin passed away.
Sorry to hear about that, man.
Yeah,
It's tough.
it's just, I've been through a lot of funerals already before this one, so
Yeah.
it was just like, it hit different because it was family.
Yeah.
But so my aunt found him in the bathroom. Okay, and so when making this, I like adding entendres to my stuff, and like I told you, like I was telling you before we started recording, last time I talked to you, man, I was in probably the darkest period of my entire life.
Yeah.
And there was one night, man, after the gym, I will never fucking forget it. And this is, I'm going to say this, I haven't really shared this like publicly, and if my parents watch it,
Go ahead, wait for them to play.
yeah,
That's a cool looking plane.
if my parents watch this and they see this is going to be their first time hearing this too. And of course, family members, this is going to be their first time hearing this as well. So back when I lived here in Kansas City, Kansas, right? And I was going to community school here. I was training at Genesis. I want to share this for anybody who, like, they were so certain in their heart that something that they loved was going to last a lifetime. Like, something so special. Something that you thought would, like, you would put your life on it. That would never break. That would never fall apart. And it all ends up just crumbling down.
Right.
Out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. And it hits you like a fucking truck. And that happened to me with a certain situation. And it was something, dude, it all just came crumbling down. And bro, Kansas City, bro, KCK, like, it was in a rough area. It was in a very, very rough area where I lived. It was very, very dark. Dark, bro. No street lights. Rough area. And it was just like, I discovered when I was personal training, like, it's not what I wanted to do, so add that, like, okay, so now I gotta figure out something different. This whole situation over here came crumbling down and caused me so much heartache and everything, and I was not the person I wanted to be. And there was one night, man, after the gym, where I remember driving home, and it was the most numb feeling. Like, I literally clocked out, and and I'm a big music head. Like, we can get more into that too after this too, because I was excited to talk music with you. But I remember, like, bro, I did not turn on my radio. Like, I didn't turn on my aux, nothing. I just rode home in silence, just the whole time. And then I got home, and literally just, I had bland walls. I didn't decorate. I was just depressed, man. Like, my house was trashed. Like, I had bland walls. It was not me. Like, I was not in my body anymore. Like, I was literally sitting on my couch staring at a fucking just TV that was turned off for probably a solid 45 minutes. And I just kept imagining myself just jumping off the balcony. Just 4 or 5 times. Just, and then I finally, I felt like that scene in Paranormal Activity where the sister is like possessed and she's standing like behind the couch like this, and she just walked like with the dude sleeping on the couch like this.
You're like,
I'm not, bro.
Right,
I'm not in my body.
Right.
I'm not in my body, and it was so dark and intense to the point to where I stood up and I just walked to my shower. I turned on the shower and I actually sat in my shower, and I was like, I don't want to hear words. I don't want to hear music with words. I don't want to hear any of that. Instead, I turned on like just like these different vibrations and these different sounds and everything, and I remember just hopping out of the shower, laying in bed, and I typed all night, just on my phone, just notes, speaking to myself about what the fuck was going on. And I remember waking up the next morning like, what the fuck was that? Like, what was that?
It's like something just took over you.
Yeah, man, it was definitely one of the darkest moments of, my entire life. And so when making this, it was almost like I was including a tribute to my cousin, right? Because there was a scene in it, I don't know if you watched it yet, where I have a pill bottle and I'm just laying in the bathroom or sitting in the bathroom, and like bro, shout out to Kobe, my dog, killed his acting performance. He was whining, like, oh, what's daddy about to do? Like, stuff like that. And a lot of people don't know that scene was all, like, this whole thing was about me, too. Like, as far as, like, in the end, I made my headphones say, like, I had my headphones die after, like, working out and stuff like that. And in my headphones said, and I killed myself over his demons so he doesn't have to. And because my headphones died because they were out of battery, because listening to them all the time. But it was the entendre in that sense, and I escaped it being about me telling my parents, like, hey, it was a big tribute to my cousin, which it was, but it was also for the people that know me and what I've been through, like, as far as mentally, they knew that was also about me too. So there's that project. I would love if people check that out, because that was my first short film ever. And then I did a documentary about my best friend Balti called the Sunchiami documentary. It was my first attempt at a documentary ever.
Check it out.
Yeah, man, that was definitely really fun, because I was doing it with a brother, and it's something that we both believe in each other, so we just made that, man. So
let's go back a little bit. What like, I mean, and I remember like seeing you in that dark place, dude, and that's why when I saw you, I was actually, funny thing, I was meditating before I came here. What I like to do, dude, it sounds weird, but I like to when I meditate, I like to, whoever I'm interviewing or whoever I'm talking to, I like to picture them smiling. You know what I mean? And I remember seeing you, I kept envisioning you smiling, because I was like, I want this positive vibes, and I just remember, I was like, God, I hope he's happy, man, because I was just thinking about how I just remember seeing you every day. Like, yeah, I mean, you were, you're Kyron, you're joking around, you, we talk about music, we'd have a good time, but like, see, there's that smile, man. See, and like, but I knew something was off. I mean, I could just tell. A lot of people knew you could tell that something was off, right? And I was like, God, that guy, I know he wasn't happy. And I remember you telling me at points, you're like, I wasn't happy.
I gained a lot of weight.
Right.
There's a reason why I had to quit personal training, because I was like, dude, I'm not together. Like, I was like, who the fuck am I to try to help people get their shit together
yourself,
when I couldn't even help myself?
Yeah.
Man, so.
Well, with seeing you was, right when I saw you get out of the car and turn on smile, I was like, thank God. I'm not bullshitting you, dude. I literally was like, dude, I could just, there was a glow about you. I could tell. I was like, dude, he's happy. He's in a way better place than you were, obviously. What got you out of that place, dude?
I definitely think change of scenery. So when I went to Mizzou, and started studying digital storytelling because that's my degree, I was with people that my life started with back when I was younger. Like my best friend, one of my best friends, James, who was literally my first neighbor when I moved to Lee Summit, and you know, I had that whole. They weren't like my prime friend group in high school, like my dudes, people that I would hang out with every day, but they were like my second family to me, you know. And the fact that I had them when I went to this new place, and I was actually living with him, and I went from this dark, just energy area to now I'm at this new university, like it's alive, like
Right.
I'm with
way
a
more
dude
positive people in
I'm
your
with
life.
a dude that struggles with mental shit just as bad as I do.
Right.
Like I'm living with him. We can talk about it. Like, you know, and all this other stuff. So that helped. And then also, man, like, dude, like I hope he watches this because I'm gonna post it to Facebook too. But Stefan, my trainer, I started training at a place called Glory MMA, and dude, because a big reason why I was so upset too was because I worked so hard on bettering myself when it came to like my speed, my athleticism, like, and everything. And when I found out my knee was just not getting better either, like it also added that to the fire. Like fuck, like no matter how hard I'm trying right now, I still got this shackle. And I remember because I had surgery when I was working with you.
Yeah.
And dude, I was just. He put me on a.
I remember that. Yeah, because I remember you're like, "Fuck, I want to lose my gains." I'm like, shut up, dude.
He put me on a meal plan, and I went from and started training with him too, and everything. Like, I went from 218 to 195. All fat lost.
Right.
And I started to like feel better, like I was running again, and then also like, I realized my biggest flaw. One of my biggest flaws, and bro, I will get the most mad at myself more than anyone in the room. Like, I could do the most stupidest thing and everyone would be so pissed off at me, but no one will ever be more pissed off at me than me and myself, bro. Like, and the worst part is, it's with shit that I do for the first time. Like, I'm not supposed to be good at it.
Right.
But yet, I get so mad, and like, when I trained with Stefan, man, he's teaching me all these body movements and all this other shit.
Right.
And I fuck up. I go, fuck, like that. And Stefan fights. Stefan's an intimidating motherfucker.
Right.
And I respect him.
Right.
And he will literally look at me like, none of that shit here. The fuck you, what are you mad about?
Right.
Like, he hits me, he's the only person that gave me that energy.
Right.
I think other people are like, oh, Kyron, you know, it's not a big deal, da-da-da-da-da, or, bro, you good? Like, people tell me that. No, he's like, what the fuck you doing that for?
Right.
Like, serious, like.
Yeah, being real, yeah.
Like, and it I was like, bro, you're right. Like, and I started going to therapy when I was at Mizzou. That shit, because people who watch this, man, if you struggle with anxiety, depression, like I do, one thing that helped me so much was I had my brothers, you know, Baltzy, Connor, Davin, right? Like, they were everything to me. They still are. When life started to turn around and I don't necessarily have them every day anymore, I started to bottle shit up, you know, and that's when shit started to go south. And when I went to Mizzou and I realized, dude, I gotta see somebody, you know, and to get me out of this. And just having that therapist there, I remember my first therapy session, I walked out, bro, it was like a euphoric, orange, bright color feeling, like, you know. And so when you ask me, like, what changed, that did, like, it was a whole change of scenery. Now, granted, I had to learn, because one of the best moments of my entire life was thinking I was gonna die, like, every day. Like, not on some suicidal shit, but more of, when I was finally in my happy place again, was when I started to really realize, like, this could be my last day. What the fuck am I doing stressing about this for?
Right.
Like, if I really go out, this is how I'm gonna go out.
Right.
Like,
pissed off about something.
I'm gonna go out never saying hi to that girl. I'm gonna go out never expressing my opinion in class. I'm gonna go out never releasing videos like I have. Like, that shit. Like, I was like, bro, no, because for real, we're all gonna die. So what the fuck are you waiting for?
Right.
Like, when I had that in my head, man, I was the most happiest I ever been. Am I still in it? No. And it's been something I've been trying to work, because I feel like the saying, consistency is key, goes way deeper. I feel like all these sayings that we grew up learning go way deeper than what we were taught. When we heard consistency is key, we heard it from our coaches. We heard it from just, practice, repetition. I started to, like, discover, man, that consistency is key, man. You can add it not only to the physical, but the mental. Like, for example, when you lay in bed at night, and you all of a sudden feel this, we all get it, like, you get this motivation, like, oh, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do this, 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 this. Like, and you're excited before you go to bed. You wake up, what happens? You get back in the same routine. Nothing ever really changed.
Right.
And it's just this constant cycle. If you keep that thought consistent every fucking day, just
hard.
every day, it's
hard.
hard, bro.
It's very
it's
fucking
very
hard.
hard. But once you
I struggle
get
with it.
locked in, dude,
It's hard to get you out.
It's hard to get you out,
It's
man.
just like losing weight or gaining muscle, and that's just, I know I'm being a douchebag about the explanation, but that's a great example though. When you're in those mindsets of training, like you're going to fight someone, you know what I mean, like as in like a professional fight or something like that. You have something to look forward to. You're in that lockdown mindset. It is something different. It's another animal, dude. And having someone like a trainer like that, like I've had a trainer before, Max, is like my second dad, dude. I love him to death, and he helped me out through times and showed me so many things. And it reminded me of what you just said there of like, where he looks at you and says, no, we're not doing that. Because there's times I'd be pissed off, and he'd look and be like, Luke. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Shit. You know what I mean? They're intimidating. I mean, he's an intimidating dude. And not even just that, like you said, you respect him. And like having someone with that energy is very important, especially if you're gonna call yourself a trainer. One second, I just don't want this to fucking die.
Yeah.
And then it delete or some bullshit. So I'm gonna grab the charger real quick. I would hate myself if this did not, you know what I mean? If this freaking turned off right now. So, I'll make sure that does not happen.
the camera's actually decent on this thing, man. It's crazy for the front camera.
I mean, when you rewatch it, there'll be. It's not as like. It's not bad. What I'm more impressed with is that mic, dude. My buddy lended it to me. Like there's like a block right there. Modern problems require modern solutions. Cool.
Sweet.
Hell yeah, sorry about that.
No, man, you're
I
good.
was like, I kept glancing over and staying in the conversation, and I was like, dude, this could not die because this is amazing. Okay, we're good. We're great.
So back to pick up off of, so like as far as like having trainers and stuff like that too, like say that you're not like, you don't have enough free space in your.
I still recording will be okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as, so like even if you're not a training type person, just having like a person in your life, if you could just like for example, for me, a big person in my life too that is still like one of my mentors till this day is my homie Dave. Like we worked together at a vitamin shop, and dude, he has helped me so much. Like one of the biggest things that he's told me, and I've shared this on Snapchat all the time too. Another big thing that's gotten me out of that ending cycle of depression is watching the energies that I feed myself, man. Like I used to listen to depressing music all the fucking time.
It's addicting, man.
I thought it helped.
Right.
I thought it helped.
I saw you. I remember watching that Snapchat.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember that because one of my buddies was telling me, because I mean, dude, I love Eminem, I love DMX, I love even the newer guys who are aggressive.
Yeah.
I was raised very aggressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, me and my stepdad, we used to box since I was 14, man, and even before that, he just bullied me.
Yeah.
That aggression builds, dude.
Oh.
And it builds to where it's like, you feed off of it and you start listening to stuff that will do that. And I mean, when my buddy's like, dude, this is why you're fucking angry all the time. I was like, well, no, I mean, I'm just more angry because not that I'm angry, I'm just so aggressive. That's why you're so fucking aggressive. You listen to aggressive music, dude. I was like, man, you're right.
Because it's all about, so for people that don't know, because you've seen it, but so I'll reiterate it. The thing that Dave taught me was, he goes, so if you have a barking dog and he's just barking at you the whole time, just being aggressive, just barking, is it going to calm that dog down if I just go woo, 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 and bark back at its face? Fuck no, it's not.
Right.
It's the same thing with people, man. Like, if I'm depressed, why am I matching my depression with depressing music? For that barking dog, man, what do people, they go, shh. They go, it's okay. Like, shh. Like, you completely do the opposite energy, man. It's all what you're feeding up in here. So, there are times, man, like, where all I want to do is just lay in bed, curl up in a ball, and listen to depressing ass shit, right? But then I turn on, like, meditation music.
Oh, yeah. I do that, too.
And do breathing techniques, bro. It's holy shit.
I need to get on that. That shit looks crazy.
Dude, it's definitely, it's changed my life, not getting trapped in that never-ending cycle, you know? So that's another thing, too. But to answer your question, that's what's changed.
Well, I will say, you are more yourself than I've ever seen. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
Thank you.
Because there's times when, especially in the time that it's kind of weird because I was a senior in high school at the time, and I obviously didn't understand it, but once you get out of high school, it's a different animal. You're facing your 20s and your early 20s. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You're scared. You don't understand. They didn't teach us fucking real life shit. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. I've been through some shit. You know, that has made me a little more immune to real life than maybe others, but you know, definitely not on the level of some other kids. And
bro, the thing that people, sorry to cut you off, just real quick point, the real thing that people gotta remember, man, is people have been through shit.
Yeah.
There are people out here that have been through shit that I couldn't even imagine.
100%.
You know, so, but continue.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, exactly what you said. When I actually went through a really hard time, like getting out of high school and just like understanding what I want to do, and this shit helps me right here because I realized how happy I was just doing a podcast. I love talking with people, you know what I mean? And you're right, dude, because man, where my mom worked as a kid, I used to hang out with these kids all the time who, I mean, they lived in the hood, man, and they didn't have shit. Their cousin either got shot or they saw violence every day. Don't get me wrong, I had some things go on when I was a kid with violence, but not to the level of these kids, you know what I mean? And that's one thing that I also thought of. I was like, dude, and even as a kid, I thought of that, and I got back to thinking, I'm like, dude, what the fuck am I bitching about, man? Like, yeah, you had some tough times that maybe other kids didn't, but like these kids, and even those kids could say, hey, bro, I got a cousin who has it 10 times worse than me. You know, it's just like you said, man. Someone always has it worse, and that's one thing I always talk about is don't get me wrong, you know, mental health is key for everything. I feel like there's a huge poor me attitude in today's culture, just in general. I don't know if it's an American thing, if it's just everybody. I feel like social media has a big part of it, man. It's a big poor me, and it's like, don't get me wrong, you need to forgive yourself for sure, and that's a big part of it. You know, there's certain things that I think about when I said and did when I was like 14. I'm like, hey, dude, forgive yourself, bro.
Oh, dude, I cringe at myself.
Yeah, I'm like, what did I say? Why did I say that? But you know, it takes a guy like, for example, your trainer. He's like, Kyron, none of that shit here. Real motherfuckers looking at you, not just because they're intimidating, because you respect them, telling you quit being a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fucking man, you're a fucking woman, get up, don't let this shit get you down. And when someone does that to you, if we had more people like that, man, I think mental health would be just... more people would have mental health.
Bro, mental health does not get talked about enough. It's so crazy. It's so...
And I think at this point in time, I've only lived 21 years. I don't know what it was like before 21 years ago, besides what I've seen on camera, right? But I really do think, like, because of social media and shit like that, that mental health is awful nowadays. As in, mental illness is awful. My bad, is awful nowadays. A lot of people have just problems with coping with things, just problems in general, man. Feeding into what people are saying online, looking at likes, looking at views, looking at all this, man. It's I don't know, dude. It's a wild thing. It's a wild thing, and like you're right. It does need to be talked about. It needs to be pressed on. It needs more attention. And like I said, I think that more people need people like that, like a trainer, a therapist, someone to tell them, like, hey, be real with them. Because you could have someone all day feeding into it. You know what I mean? Feeding, oh, well, you're right. You know what I mean? And don't get me wrong, people need empathy, 100%. But there's a point where I think some people, they don't know how. That's one of my problems. Like, I can motivate a lot of people, but I could never have the power to get someone out of depression. I know people that have, like your trainer, like your friend who tells you those things. I know people that have those powers to just get people out of depression, and it's a gift that people have. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And those people usually end up being personal trainers or something like that. Or life coaches, or even teachers, man. You know, it's a power that those people have, and I can't say we need more people like it because it's not taught. It's a gift. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But I think people need to open up their ears to those people more, because I think they get punished for being like real. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I hate about like social media and all that bullshit. When someone says something real, it gets misinterpreted, right?
Dude, how many times do you misinterpret just your homie's text when they text you something?
Right, like that Key and Peele skit, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, where he's at a bar and then one's at home and he keeps sending a text. He's like, this motherfucker, like, because he's saying something that's totally like really blunt and very like, it seems rude, but it's like, what the fuck? And that happens. You see someone's like, what the fuck? What are we coming at me sideways?
Unless you are looking a motherfucker in the eye.
Yeah.
Like, I truly believe, like, intentions cannot truly be perceived correctly.
100%.
Like, there's just...
Videos get edited, statuses get...
It's so...
Headlines are ridiculous.
Yeah, man. It's,
you know?
It's very... And that was a big reason for 11 Fierce 12, too. Just everything. Just everything is constantly being in your face.
Right, thrown at you. And you just... Yeah. And that's another thing, is people don't like to be wrong, right? Yeah. People post something, and then it turns out not to be right. You come out like 10 days later, oh, that actually didn't happen. Media just blew it up and made it wrong. Then no one wants to be wrong. No one wants to take you could take your post down and someone can admit they're wrong, but no one does that. Everyone's like, no, I was right. That's what happened. Well, dude, you saw a cut-up video of something, or a cut-up picture, or even just a picture. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You can misinterpret a picture so easy.
That is why I mainly used all body cam footage with this project, man, because that's facts.
Yeah, that's fact. Like your dad said, that it better be factual.
That's really what happened. That's not edited. That is straight emblem on the top right, timer, everything, body cam footage from the officer themselves, because I wanted this to be as real as possible for people. So
yeah, it definitely moved me, dude. Like watching, and I think it in the like you said in your class, dude. People, I've been in that spot where obviously I've never personally made anything that powerful, but I've made stuff in class that people were like, oh hey, mainly just funny stuff that made people talk in like a film class I had. But
That's one thing I wish I would do, man, is more comedy stuff sometimes. Because I'm just like, every time I come up with an idea, bro, it's either serious, depressing. I'm like, fuck, Kyron,
right?
I feel like I'm funny, you know. I feel like
well, you are, but that might be your escape. Like, if you think about it, you're getting all of that out. Like, you're getting that depression, that seriousness out. Because when I talk to you, you're a fun guy. I mean, you're passionate as hell, which I love.
Thank you, man.
You're a fun dude. But I mean, everybody's got inner demons. Everybody. And if you say you don't, you're lying. Everyone's got demons. Everyone's got fucked up thoughts. You putting all that serious stuff out, that's your way of I think of taking whatever depressing shit and just fucking get that shit out of there. Get it out of here. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's I don't know, man. It's just something that I think more people need to do. More people need to be, and that's one thing about you is like I said, dude. You are and I know you say you need to work on some stuff, but we all do, right? Mm-hmm. But I can say, dude, don't get down on yourself too much because, bro, you 100% have changed since the last time I saw you, bro. Like, and you're still, but it's like you're still Kyron, right? But you're just you're a better Kyron.
I was thinking that on the drive here because I was telling you, man, like the feeling of driving on the highway, because to get here I had to go towards the route that I went
that road,
every day, that highway coming through the city, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, when I was going to Kansas City, Kansas Community College, and I didn't have a place out there yet, every morning for my 9 a.m.s, I drove an hour and 10 minutes to that community school.
Right.
I woke up at 7 o'clock, drove through that city, drove all the way up just to go to fucking KCK.
Right.
And lived through that, and this road took me through that again, so, like, it was, like, to get to your house.
Right.
I was like, holy fuck, I felt different.
Right.
Like, it brought back so many feelings driving on it and everything, and just, I literally looked at myself up and down, like, driving, like, dude, if I looked at me when I worked with you,
right.
I'd be like, what the fuck?
Right, you're like, what is that? I do the same shit.
What the fuck?
All right.
So,
I mean, I look at myself. I mean, there was times when I was in a bad place, and this is the worst thing I think you could do is, I was in a bad place not too long ago, and I kept looking at myself when I was in a good place. I was like, God, I look so fucking happy there. I know my thoughts there were not the same thoughts I had, but I kept looking on who I was, and I'm like, dude, no, you gotta move forward. You gotta forget who you were. You gotta not forget who you were, but forget that bullshit. Move on to something else, man. Because obviously, you at this point, you don't like this person. You loved the dude back here, but unfortunately, bro, you're not that guy no more. You know, I told myself, like, you're not that guy no more. You got to get out of this slump, move on to this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once I told myself
it's
that,
all levels,
yes,
man.
dude.
You're leveling up.
Dude, I'm gonna kick myself in the nuts because I mentioned it because I'm trying not to mention my idols too much in the podcast because they're gonna see. You know what I mean? Do you watch Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Rogan's like, I mean, I've been watching him since I was like 15, dude. And I'm one of those people like, I've been on him since 15. I've been watching him.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Right. He's one of my biggest idols, dude. And I've been watching even his comedy. Yeah, that's what got me into watching.
He's got some of my favorite comedy specials.
100%. And even his old stuff, not even his Netflix special. I used to watch his old stuff, and that's what got me into his I found out he had a podcast. He has a podcast? Okay, watched it. Here's the thing, and I've mentioned him probably in the last 4 podcasts. I'm trying not to. But he's just one of my biggest idols. Watching that dude, that is a dude that lets himself progress. Watching him from when I used to watch him on Fear Factor to the UFC.
When he had hair.
When he had, I always joke, I watched him when he had hair. You know what I mean? And just watching him, just even with some of his old comedies of who he was, even watching him on his old podcast at like 300, even 1,000. Even 50 or whatever he's on, he's probably in the 1500s right now. Even in 1300, 1200, 1100, 1000, he is completely different. Not complete, he is different. You know what I mean? So different. He lets himself change. When I watched a video of him apologizing about the whole Portland thing, and I was watching an old podcast that I missed a long time ago, I was like, bro, it's like a different person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like he lets himself progress. And that's just one thing I respect about someone is letting themselves progress, letting themselves. There are some people, man, that I run into from high school, not even just high school, just from a year or two ago, and they're holding on to something that's just gone. You know what I mean? They're holding on to like high school, to just bullshit. Not even just high school, who they were in high school. I'm like, man, you are, unfortunately, you are still the same person, and it makes me sad that you are, because I want to look at someone years from now and be like, oh, they're better now. You know what I mean? And that's just not to kick them in the nuts or anything, but it's like when you meet someone who is so stuck, and you see that those real insecurities that they have. You know, everybody has insecurities, but you see the bullshit insecurities, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And you're like, God, dude, you need to move on. Come on, dude. I get it. You know, everyone. There's certain things I still need to move on from, but there's just certain people that just aren't letting things go, man. I don't know, man. It's like I said, it's one of those things, dude.
We're all learning, man.
Yeah,
we're all
100%.
learning, and the best thing you can do in this life is just try to grow to be a better person every day.
Do you read?
I don't.
You don't?
I don't read.
You don't read? Do you listen to audiobooks?
No. So
I'm surprised. You really seem like a dude who would read.
Here's the thing, man. I try.
It is hard. I'll give you that.
Books were never my friend.
Oh, 100%. Me too.
Because, bro, terrible ADHD. Terrible.
Yeah, same.
Terrible. And, like, I remember, like, I maybe read... Because I never read books that were assigned to us in school. I always cheated.
Dude, we had Spark Notes.
Yeah,
we had fucking...
I never...
Remember AR? Did you guys have AR growing up? It was like accelerated read. You had to read a book, then take a quiz on it in elementary school. Oh, gosh. I remember one time I didn't read. I had an A in reading. I actually loved English and reading and all that. I love stories. I always liked storytelling. But I was going to get put down to a C in elementary school at a time, and my mom was like, you better fucking read a book, because I had to take an AR test. And my mom's like, just watch Harry Potter. So I watched Harry Potter. She made me take notes on it. I remember I took notes on Harry Potter, everything. I took notes on it the whole time. I studied the movie. Then I went to go take the test, and it would ask me, like, what was Harry thinking? And I failed it. My mom's like, it's just like the fucking movie. It's just like the fucking movie. I was like, no, it's not. They're asking they don't tell you what Harry was thinking about at that point of time. And then I failed I got a C in the class. My mom was so pissed. It was just a funny story.
No, man, bro, I listen to music all the time.
100%.
All the fucking time.
Who are you listening to now? New guys.
New guys?
New guys. If you listen to new guys.
Oh, I do listen to new guys.
You like King Von?
I haven't given him a chance yet.
Dude, give him a chance. He's a great storyteller, man.
Dude, man. Okay, so I'll just say dudes that I watch. I'll just talk about dudes that I watch out for when they drop right now. Dudes I would look out who drop, of course, Kendrick, Cole, Drake.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
Big Sean's album was incredible.
Oh, it was amazing. That cipher was great. Detroit has his own sound now.
I will say this. He retweeted me on Twitter, actually. 42 Doug had probably the hardest verse in that entire cipher.
Really?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes. He said, if he ain't dead, we ain't even. And when
I
I heard
42
that,
Doug, yeah.
I was going crazy. Nah, man, so of course, Big Sean and stuff like that. Dude, I love it when, like, Lupe Fiasco drops. I'm a huge Lupe fan. He dropped a nice little EP. There's so many dudes, man, that I listen to all the time. I started to really get into Kevin Gates. I don't know, just working out wise.
I was listening to him just recently.
Yeah.
He drops a lot.
Oh yeah, dude. I feel like Wayne. I wish to see Wayne back in his top, tier again. But I also love the fact that he's dropping shit that not everyone's paying attention to, and it kind of makes it feel like it's your own now.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Dude, I love the Carter 5.
Yo, Carter 5 is great. Did you like the Deluxe? The Deluxe was awesome.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Dude, it's great. It doesn't feel like the Carter 5, in my opinion. It feels kind of new. Like new. I wouldn't say new Wayne, but you know what I mean. When he dropped the Free Wheezy album, did you listen to that? FWA?
So.
Yeah. Ooh. I know that was like kind of 2013 Wayne, but
dude, till this day, I feel like Carter 4 is one of the greatest albums I have ever heard.
I like Carter 3 the best. Carter 4 is still really good.
Carter 3 is classic no matter what.
But
to our generation, bro, I feel like there was a little, like, bridge,
Oh, 100%.
Carter 4 literally hit our generation like nail on the head.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Do you feel like there's been classic albums in our lifetime?
Dude, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this. I think Travis Scott's album was a classic.
I am not. Okay.
I
I'm gonna
think
preface this because there's gonna be a lot of frat boys and a lot of dudes that are gonna get pissed off.
Right.
I cannot hype on the Travis Scott train.
Really?
As far as listening to him all the time, I can't. I can appreciate what he does,
right.
And I will definitely see him perform before I die because he probably puts on one of the greatest shows
100%
out of all the artists out right now. But
I think Astroworld is a classic, man. I really believe that.
Do you think it would have been a classic without a Drake song?
Yes.
Okay.
If you, you motherfucker, look at it. I do because it's one of those. For one, it feels like one song in the whole thing.
Okay, no bystanders. Is fucking crazy.
Well, he had fucking he had so many people into that album, and he conducted it. He's a conductor.
That's one thing I appreciate him for.
Yeah, he's a conductor. I just don't like the
every song. I can't get with artists, man, where every song sounds it sounds the same. Like, because when I turn on albums, bro, I'm not looking at this. I make sure it's not on shuffle, and I go through the entire thing. I don't look at when the song changes. So one thing I'm paying attention to, are they melding it together really well, or whatever it may be. With Travis's albums, man, I'll be listening to a song, I'll be like, is this the same one? And then it ends up being the different one. It's like one of those things.
I get what you mean.
I love it when he raps.
Oh, he's great. He's phenomenal.
I love it when he actually, like, tries to spit and rap.
Right.
It's more of, like, I don't know. It's definitely one of the artists for sure that all the kids my age listen to, but I could never.
Yeah, there's like I feel like that about I can't even think of who I feel like that about at the top of my head. There's a lot of artists thinking. Thing with Travis Scott, like I said, I know he's a conductor. Don't get me wrong. Here's my biggest thing with Travis Scott, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love Travis Scott's songs. When he makes a song, I fucking love it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like his features on other people's shit. The reason why, Travis Scott has his own world, right?
Yeah. That is one thing I will commend him for, man. That whole little just amusement park and vision and everything is so fucking crazy.
It is brilliant. He has his own world, and when he features in another person's song, you know, Chopsticks is an exception, but like stuff like that, just because I love Schoolboy and I think he did a good job collabing with him. But when you hear Travis,
so crazy.
Oh, he's amazing. If you hear Travis on another person's album, that song has to be in Travis's world. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And some artists can't do that.
Yeah.
And he, unfortunately, I think he gives artists a chance that I don't like. And I'm like, dude, that's why I don't like almost every feature that's on another album. I probably don't like that's Travis. But I love Travis's albums. I love his songs. But when he's on someone else's, I'm like, you're bringing. For one, it's also when you listen to an album, like me and you, we listen to albums, right? I listen to an album, I have a tone. When I hear one song that takes me out of it, it takes me out of it. I don't like getting out of my groove, you know what I mean? And even though there's like the songs that, you know, they're supposed to be out of it.
That's one thing I feel like M has been really bad at.
Yes, you know why? Because his old. Here's the thing: if I had to go with classic, if you want to go with maybe in our lifetime, not in our generation, but our lifetime, I would go 2001, classic.
Yeah.
Marshall Mathers LP, classic. 50 Cent, Get Rich or Die Trying, classic. I have two more. Carter 3, obviously, and I put Astro, but I push it back because I'm leaving the classics with the class, you know. But those especially if you listen to Marshall Mathers LP, the Eminem Show, even Relapse, even Encore, or not Encore, because Encore had that problem too, I think, in my opinion. But Recovery, it had a tone to it. Mm-hmm. I do think Kamikaze had a tone to it, in my opinion.
I did not like the Kamikaze hate.
Kamikaze.
I did not like the hate. I did not like the hate it got. But, dude, like, first off...
Oh, you didn't like the hate it got?
I didn't like the hate that it got.
Yeah, but you liked the album, right?
Bro,
but you know what?
Was going so fucking crazy.
I woke up, and you know me, I'm a huge M fan, like you.
Yeah.
I woke up, all my friends were like, dude, what the fuck? I said, what? Literally 10 people text me. They don't even listen to M. They're like, M dropped an album. They put Fire next to it. I was like, because Revival disappointed me a lot.
It was terrible.
It was terrible. It was fucking awful. And when I saw the Fire, I was like, huh,
I till this day wish he would just take it off.
Oh, I really wish he would, because I fucking hated that album. But I understood it, but I hated it. Not really didn't understand it. But when I listened to The Ringer, I just shit my pants, because
Everyone
you know what?
did.
As a fucking, that was old M with new shit. It was new M.
Well,
Fuck
it was
old,
finally
it was
him
new.
being what we've been
Waiting.
really, waiting for.
Yeah.
As far as bro, you've had all these people all year talking shit on your name, and you dropped Revival. It didn't really mention any of them.
Yeah.
But then now you got more and more people talking shit on
you.
And I remember I was laying in bed. It was late at night.
Yeah.
And his Twitter, I refreshed my Twitter feed, and he just said, "Try not to overthink this one." With all the
with the middle. Yeah.
And I was like, did
he just drop an album?
And then I turn on, and then it's The Ringer.
Ringer.
I was bro, little fucking bully me.
Yeah.
Bro, I love the question when I tell dudes I'm a hip hop head, and they ask, well, who's your favorite artist? I'd be like, dude, I'm white, I was bullied, and I'm from the Midwest. Who do you think's my favorite? And they're like, oh, M. I'm like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, 100%.
But dude, I grew up on him and everything,
Yeah.
and hearing that, bro, took me back, and I thought the whole album was great.
Yeah.
But as far as classics, I'll say for me, I have never, so I wouldn't consider Relapse and all that stuff. I feel like that's classic to a certain fan base.
I think that was a M classic. I don't think it was generally a classic.
Yeah, I'm talking a classic amongst population.
Right. When I named off those albums, I meant they had a sound to it. I didn't mean they were classics. Don't even know, Marshmello's LP and Eminem Show, I think, are classics.
Oh no, they went diamond.
Yeah, they went diamond. Yeah.
But no, as far as lately, I feel like as far as in our lifetime, when we were in high school and everything, Oxymoron.
Oh, Oxymoron for sure.
Rolling Papers 1 with Wiz, Carter 4 and Carter 3 are all classics. Get Rich or Die Trying, of course.
100%.
T.I., Paper Trail.
Oh yeah.
And then, dude, of course, Good Kid, Mad City.
Oh yeah.
Drake's Take Care and Nothing Was the Same, I think, are both classics. I even argue I think Nothing Was the Same is better in some aspects than Take Care. They both have it.
How? And I get a lot of hate. I don't get hate for this, but I get debates with this. Don't get me wrong, I love Good Kid, Mad City. It is 100% a classic. How did you feel about Damn? I fucking loved Damn.
I like Damn. It was definitely.
That's what I get. I overly loved it, and everyone liked it. You know what I mean?
I liked
Turn
it.
the light on. Keep talking.
I liked it. It was just one of those things, man, where with Kendrick, he was definitely experimenting with, music sound that he's never really done before.
Right.
And he was making more pop hits, especially, but he was adding his own twist to it, his own creativeness to it, which it was fire. I don't think it was a classic though. Now, I have never seen. I don't think I've seen this since 50's Get Rich or Die Trying. I have
Pop
never.
Smoke?
Huh?
Pop Smoke?
Oh no.
Oh.
I've never seen an album take over a generation where I was actually hearing kids going track for track. Because a lot of kids aren't music listeners like this, and they'll just jump around.
Right.
But going track for track when Cold Drop.
Oh, 100%.
Bro, 2014 Forest Hills Drive.
Yeah.
I
that's
have
100%
never
classic.
seen, bro.
I forgot about that.
Rest
I don't know why.
in peace, Uncle Phil. Bro, they had everyone, bro. And it's
For real.
Dude, the whole album also had he dropped it at the perfect time, had the whole winter vibe to it, everything. It was so perfect. But
Yeah.
I think that was probably the last classic
I agree.
that has been, as far as seeing it take a whole wave of people, all hip-hop heads alike. Kids who like the mumble rap, kids who like all this, love that album. Everyone came together and loved that album.
I agree with you 100%, other than the exception of my opinion on Astroworld. I think.
Oh, yeah, you can say Astroworld too, but I don't think it got a lot of hip-hop heads.
No, it didn't get a lot of... If we're talking... Because Astroworld's kind of its own thing, right? If you were talking about hip-hop, yeah, 100%. Me and my friend talk about, we always say that Forest Hills Drive 100% is a classic. Same with Good Kid, Mad City. But I don't know, dude. There's just not classics that come out like that.
Do you got a top 5 right now?
Top 5 new or top 5
all time?
All time. I mean, I would say, oh god, it's so hard because
it changes all the time.
It changes all the time. I mean, personally for me is always my number one. Cube, because Cube got me into rap. Cole is definitely on there. Snoop is definitely on there. Wayne, I would if I it's hard to go in order, but if I had to go to order, it'd go M, Wayne, Cube, Snoop, and what am I at? 4?
M, Wayne, Cube, Snoop. Yeah.
Biggie.
Really?
100% Biggie. If I have to go now, if I go with, and I always do this. I don't know why, but if I go top 5 flows of all time, it would go Biggie, Snoop. Oh fuck! I always just put those in my top 2. I don't even have a top 5 for flows.
Bro, there will never. When I'm making a top list, bro, I make it like there will never be another motherfucker like you.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
And Snoop is definitely like he proved in the DMX battle, man. Like when it comes for going for hits, like you can't
100%.
you can't fuck with the dog. Like you just,
Yeah,
the
you
Godfather.
The dog.
The Godfather.
What's it called? Dude, you know what's so crazy? I wish DMX would have got out of trouble and wouldn't have had so many damn kids, because he could have been, he was amazing, and I respect him, and he's definitely in my top 10, I'll tell you that, because I love DMX, especially his first 2 albums. Went number 1 when they first came, in 1 year, in 1998, you know what I mean? And one of the most aggressive rappers of all time, but just have him in the streets too much fucked his career up, and that sucks because of how fucking talented and how crazy he is. I mean, dude, I think it was his first or second album. I think it was his first album because he didn't have any money. They're recording in a fucking closet in a crack house, and he got into I could be fucking this up, so sorry if it's not factual, but I swear I read this, or maybe he talked about it. He had his jaw wired shut or something like that. Or like he had wires in his jaw from a fight or something like that, and he was singing so fucking aggressive and shit, you can just hear it like cracking and shit in the fucking mic. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, God, I fucking love DMX, dude. I love DMX. I love Cube, man, because Cube, what pisses me off about Cube, not what pisses me off is he doesn't get I feel like he doesn't get respect, because when he says I started this gangster shit and that's the motherfucking thanks I get, that is real, because he really started that. Other than Ice-T is the exception of starting West Coast rap with 6 a.m. in the morning, if you want to go way back, Cube really did start that, like, in your face. I mean, he fucking pretty much wrote all of NWA, you know what I mean? He started that in your face fucking gangster rap shit, dude. And I mean, God, he changed, because I mean, before him it was hip hop, hip, you know what I mean? With the exception of Ice-T, who kind of, he still kind of had that in him, but he made that 6 a.m. song and everyone got on that West Coast scene. Ice Cube created that gangster rap, dude. I mean, he was, in his skills, dude, I don't think a lot of people can touch him, even just in overall. And I still think he has one of the best diss tracks of all time, which is No Vaseline.
Yeah.
And even that, dude, and even though he did kind of get knocked out in person by the dude who did Franklin for GTA, because he was friends with Cypress Hill. Remember that? He got knocked out by some. I mean, he's like 6'5", just a huge black dude, buff as hell. He got into a fight with. No, he did Franklin in
Oh yeah.
He might not be 6'5", but you know what I mean. In GTA 5, he knocked out Ice Cube in a fight and took his chain, and then they celebrated it at a concert.
Oh damn.
Look into it, dude. It's crazy story. I saw it on. Someone told me that I saw it on a documentary. It's like, this must be a real thing. I looked into it, and I supposedly heard Cube put up a good fight, which is good because he's a big dude. You know what I mean?
I mean, when did this happen?
Oh, a long time ago. Yeah, long time ago, in the 90s.
It depends how many people.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it just him versus like?
I think it was just him and that guy, but. I mean, in reality, it's because Cube tore up Cypress Hill in that beef, dude. If you remember King of the Hill, oh, be real sound like he got baby nuts. Like, dude, that shit was fucking hard. Like, and dude, I still think that he sent shots at Dr. Dre and Eminem, but supposedly he didn't. And it's, you heard the song Drink the Kool-Aid by him?
I think so.
He says, like, this ain't the doctor, always on vacation. This ain't the white boy's rehabilitation. I was like, oh, that was in 2009 when Relapse came out. I was like, no, get the fuck out of here. And then he responded in that one song with Adam Levine where it's like, my life, my life. Yeah. He said he supposedly sent some shots to Cube, but I think
those shots to Cube in that song?
yeah, he did. He's
part?
like, well, you were drinking your Kool-Aid, getting your buzz heavy. I was sharpening my
My
machete
yeah.
to get even, which I actually liked that song. It was pretty cool, but that was supposedly towards Cube. But supposedly they actually sat down and Dr. Dre they talked it out, and it got all misconstrued that it wasn't towards him.
That's fire, man.
That is fire,
That's
man.
something I didn't know.
Yeah, dude, that shit. I mean, that shit's crazy, bro. I love, but my problem with Music to Be Murdered By was that it was inconsistent songs. There's a lot of songs that I loved. I'm gonna be honest, M has not disappointed me for one in his features. After that, for example, the Fat Joe song.
That was smooth. That shit was smooth.
His new flow, and I wish
was so
he would.
happy when I heard that.
Right? I wish he would do that on his album. I feel like he's not doing that on his album that much. He's doing more of like
I feel like he just needs to follow Tyler the Creator's advice, where you got to stop trying to please everybody and just give them what you want to. Yeah, right. Give them what you want to give them.
I feel like when he's on features, he does that.
Yeah,
dude. Moon Man and Slim Shady.
Yeah, the song got really old to me after a little bit.
Really? I love that song. And I don't think no one. They both did their thing. You know what I mean? And it was like, you know, when you rap with those dudes, they're their own person, and you got to come into the world. They created a world, I felt like, for them. You know what I mean? Like, it never felt like, I mean, when Kid Cudi rapped, it felt like Kid Cudi. When Eminem rapped, it felt like Eminem. But, dude, Eminem's verse, I know when Cudi did his thing, I felt like Cudi's back. You know what I mean? But when I heard M.
Oh, that's another classic, Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon, yeah. But when I heard M, I was like, dude, he's going to fuck it up. I kept thinking M's going to fuck it up because he can do that. I love him, but he can fuck shit up. He did not fuck that up, in my opinion. Man,
where people aren't trying to
hear. That's my best thing is he didn't rap. He made a whole. I be Jordan like bitch on the floor I swish. Like that was like you said. This new is smooth, bro. That shit was smooth.
Oh yeah.
100%. And then the cipher. Someone I understand. Someone said it felt like it was kind of corny, but I loved his cipher actually.
I don't see how you can see that as corny. That especially when if you had the background knowledge that you know, there was some shit talking going on beforehand about who's really the best rapper in Detroit before that cipher even started.
Yeah, you
kind of look at it more. Okay, well, M just kind of put his nuts on the table.
Right? Yeah, he definitely did.
And because that is one.
Was it really? There's shit talking between him and other people.
What's his?
T Grizzly?
No, T. Yeah, but they sorted that out. Sada Baby. Yeah,
Sada Baby and Eminem.
Yeah, Sada Baby was kind of. Like like the king of Detroit, and stuff like that. Like,
get the fuck out of here, dude.
Well, and you know, it's a competitive spirit. You know,
right?
What I mean? 100%. And bro, he did his thing on it, but I feel like because Sean said M heard the song when everyone was already on it, and was like, okay, like, it's a cipher. It could be whatever beat he wants, and it's literally just spitting. Like this shit was made for new.
For that being a fucking freestyle, dude, that shit was hard, man.
You think he freestyled that?
I think he had a lot of writtens in there, but I think a lot of it was I do. You don't think so?
I don't know, man, because his shit is so. Because I'm big on the entendres and big on the similes.
What about the other guys? You think they freestyled that?
I think a few other people freestyled. Yeah.
I think 42 Doug did.
42 Doug freestyle. That is the hardest verse on the entire song.
I think this is what I think. M has a lot of writtens because he talks about it. Like when he talked about Juice WRLD, like you can tell he had some writtens in there. Mm-hmm. I think he had a lot of writtens, but I think I truly do think that he went into the booth without a paper and it just said fuck it and had obviously he probably had a shit like all of them had a bunch of writtens.
I always admire Jay-Z, man.
People I know he freestyles everything.
Yeah, Jay-Z never pick up a pen. Like he's in my top 5. Jay's in my top 5.
Jay is in my top 5, but he's never my favorite. But he's in my top 5 of all time. Even though I just didn't put him in, he's even with someone I know for a fact. But I used to put him underneath Wayne, but he never was my favorite, so I don't put him in there. If I put him as the greatest because of that. Like he freestyling, he is knowledgeable.
Well, he just spits game.
Yeah, and he slick talks, and not even just that. Like when he talks, first off, the when I found out that he freestyled, which is weird because his flow, it's like almost goes before a bass every time. You know what I mean? It's off, but it works. His flow, which is
That's
weird.
New York style.
Yeah, it's New York style, but
Like
it's
Mobb Deep never, you know.
right. It was completely on beat, but like
No, offbeat.
off
They're
or
more
offbeat.
offbeat.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, Jay makes it work, right?
Yeah.
But with Jay, when I found out that shit was a fucking freestyle, like he never picked up a pen. I was like, God, but the shit he talks about is so smart.
Yeah.
It's like you
Like Wayne don't pick up a
freestyle
pen
that.
either.
Oh yeah, Wayne doesn't pick up a pen, but Wayne's more. Don't get me wrong. I think Wayne. I would say Wayne is, in my opinion, the best freestyler of all time. But like Jay, since
Wayne will get off more entendres and just like
metaphors,
like
and spitting hard.
cleverness.
Yeah,
Jay is
he's
Jigga is literally
Yeah.
spitting you facts.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. He's
teaching you something.
like the story of OJ. Like
Yeah.
that shit is like, wow. Like, man, like telling you how things are in life, freestyling. Like, who the fuck? See the thing with Wayne, he's like just pussy and all that, but he's it's very clever.
It's very clever.
Amazing.
It's some of the hardest bars I think.
Oh,
I've ever heard.
100%. A lot of people say he has the hardest bars for sure.
Dude, he's a different animal, man.
Do you think? I guess Wayne would be just known for metaphors, right? Because I had an argument because of was someone said that they feel like Wayne has harder bars than M. How do you feel about that? They're so different. Is what it's hard,
dude. When it comes to those two people, those two are like they're goats, right?
Right,
they're
right.
goats. They're goats of a generation. They're M, man. When he's literally the type, like even in his old songs, like I'm like, holy shit, that went over my head. Like,
Yeah.
and I listen to him all the time. You
Yeah,
know? And,
exactly.
And it still goes, and then
That's
you
my
still learn
argument.
something all the time. With
That's
Wayne,
my argument.
I
yeah.
don't gotta think. With
Yeah.
Wayne, I don't think, and so they
Right.
deliver to it in their own ways.
Mhm.
But Wayne is literally just feeds it to you on the plate and makes you like go through the maze and
Right.
like kind of
Right.
like you know.
You know what so I watched the debate, right? Christopher Wallace, right? The guy who what is it called? Moderated whatever.
Yeah.
The debate. His name is Chris Wallace. I was like, doesn't Eminem talk about him? And I said Chris Wallace, Eminem. I didn't realize Biggie's name is Christopher Wallace.
Yeah, Christopher Wallace. Yeah.
And I did, because I was like, he's not talking about this guy. This guy wasn't even relevant in politics back then. At least I don't think. And he said, double wear 12 gauge,
It's
bigger
Chris-
than Chris
Christopher
Wallace.
Wallace,
I was
yeah.
like, what the fuck, dude? I was like, I didn't even know. I didn't even realize he was talking
Well, it's
about
kind of
him.
like in newer shit, like in accommodating, right? Like light up
Accommodating.
In the, yeah,
Dude,
like,
that shit
light
was
up in the
hard.
church, like pew pew pew.
Yeah.
I never went to church, and I did not know that those things in churches were called pews. So when he said line up in the church like pew pew pew, he's talking about like the benches, but also like shit.
Oh, God, I see. I didn't even know that. That's what I love about him. And I know that's always been his skill.
Yeah.
I think what I loved about, and going back to Kamikaze, is he had rage that he had, because he lost his rage. I mean, he's not pissed off. If you read 50 Cent's book, if you ever start reading, Hustle Harder, Hustle Smarter, great book. He talks about how, I realized that I wasn't looked at as a thug anymore. I wasn't looked at as dangerous anymore, as broken.
Yeah.
People eat that shit up, and my sound is just, he's like, I was performing Crack a Bottle in England. They loved it. Then I did it in America. I realized they didn't love it in America. They weren't singing to it like they were in England. And he's like, I realized it's because the culture, they looked at me as business 50s in movies, 50s doing this now. He's not, and he's like, that was the biggest song in America at the time.
Yeah.
He's like, it was number
That
one.
shit blew up.
Yeah, Crack a Bottle, let your body waddle. Yeah. It blew up, right? He was like, that's when I knew I have to put it down and go to movies, right? With M, when you listen to, Recovery is a great exception because I feel like he had that overdose.
That is an album that I will never understand how anybody could hate. I don't.
No one ever hated it. Well, I hated it when it first came out when I was a kid because it wasn't like.
But they're like, oh no, it's poppy. I thought it was amazing.
But here's the thing: is that he had that rage in that album. Well, it was more confidence in that album. That,
it was more like, yeah.
Like I'm back, bitch. Like, yeah, you guys didn't like Relapse because but here's this. You know what I mean?
Dude, and I think Relapse is his only album that really aged like wine.
Yeah, it did. I agree
like
because
that was the only M album that I did not like in the beginning that I grew to like.
Yeah, when I listened to that in high school, I was like, God, this album was great. I forgot, I knew Crack a Bottle and Beautiful, but other than that, I was like, dude, this is like if you listen to the whole album, everything rhymes, and that's why people didn't into accents. That's why people didn't like it. Yeah, he's playing. People weren't. They were like, what the fuck, M? What are you doing? And but when he came back in recovery, he had that. Oh, they didn't like it. I got to do something because I just had 2 Diamond albums. Fucked up with Encore. I fucked up with this. Now I gotta come back.
What's crazy with Encore, man?
Just hits.
People think it's bad, but it's just like the dude still has some of the biggest songs on there.
Ass like that.
Well, that,
yeah.
but also
Mockingbird.
Yeah. Mockingbird, fucking Like Toy Soldiers. Mosh was huge.
Mosh was huge. Well, the thing is, I feel like that album didn't do well because his expectations were so fucking high. Reminds me of 2018.
He was drugged out.
He was drugged out too, yes, and he was the most drugged out in that album. But okay, remember when Drake dropped in 2018 that album after Pusha T? No.
Oh no, Scorpion.
Pusha T, yeah. Scorpion, dude, that had probably about 6 or 7 hits on it, just like, or maybe like 5 or 6 hits on it, right?
That was fucking trash. I hated that.
This is what I'm saying, dude. This is what I'm saying. Listen to me. I really feel like that and Encore have a lot in common because there are some classics. Don't get me wrong, you can argue maybe there wasn't, God's Plan was on there, but there maybe wasn't as many classics as like Encore. Encore had some classics, right? You can't deny that Scorpion, or whatever the fuck it was called.
Oh, bro, Encore had Just Lose It too, but keep going.
Just Lose It, yeah, Just Lose It. Yeah. Dude, it had, Trap Money Vinny, that song. It had Stop or whatever.
It had hits. My problem with Scorpion was he did an A side and a B side, right? And his whole thing was one side's rap, one side's emotion. I wish he would have cut down the songs and mixed them up.
I agree 100%. I know that was the problem, and I've had this exact same conversation with people. That 100% was the problem. I agree with you.
Yeah.
We've had
I'm so excited for what's the new one coming out now?
I don't know what it's called, but it's gonna be great.
Yeah.
But to what I was saying, I still feel like even if he did that, cut down the songs, I still feel like because his expectations were so high, just like with Encore, people still would have trashed it.
Yeah.
Because think of it. It's the end of the decade. He owned the decade. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's how I feel about that. 100%. 100%. But when you listen to old M, his rage is like no other rapper.
There'll never be another rapper like it. Just like there'll never be another fucking, 04, 07, 08 Wayne. Like there'll never 100%. Be there's certain artists, man, like that's how you know they're great, when you know there will never be another one like them, man. And,
yeah, especially in their prime.
Fucking Nas, Illmatic is.
Do you like
Nas?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Illmatic is amazing. Yeah. Have you heard God's Son? Dude, Cross, the song Cross? It's
I know the album, I haven't listened to it yet.
Okay, I love the album. The second or third song I think it's the second, I turned it on. People don't credit, and I'm sorry I'm going back to M because we got on him. People don't credit M as a producer. Because if people,
dude, he's produced some shit.
Cleaning Out My Closet was hit. Dude, Eminem show was basically
he produced Many Men.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Dude, you know what's a Akon song? He made that song. Yeah, he made that. There's a song in there. I turned it on. I had the CD because it was for my brother. I had it, and that's the time I didn't have an aux in my car. I turned it on, and I go to the cross. I was like, I remember this song. I heard boom, boom, boom. I was like, M produced this. I didn't even look at it. I was like, M produced this. I looked it up. I was fucking right. Yeah. I was like, this is so M. But then in the same time period, Jay had him produce whatever that song was on
Renegade.
He produced Renegade, but he also produced another song on the same one in 2000. What was it? 4, 3? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 2000. Maybe it was earlier than that. It was not Renegade. What was the album the Black Album? It was on the Black Album.
I would have to look at the track list.
It was called like Satan. It was something that M would definitely produce.
Jay is one of the dudes, man. Like, so I did for Kanye, man. Like my first semester of college ever, and I was driving back and forth because I was still working and going to school. I was like, I'm gonna go through every Kanye album front to back, not skipping a single song. Go through every one,
God, Kanye, bro.
So far, I've done it for Kanye and I've done it for Mac.
Yeah.
Speaking of fucking artists that you will never see again, Mac Miller is.
R.I.P. Dude.
If you have never checked out Mac, check out Mac Miller, bro. Like, that dude, the progression in every mixtape and every album is so fucking crazy.
He's
in his
great.
artistic, dude, I just want y'all to listen. I don't even want to talk about it. So I did that with Kanye. I did that with Mac, and my next one I did it with Lupe, and next one I want to do now is Jay, because now he finally put all this shit on Spotify. So
Oh, did he really?
yeah, so that's gonna be my next venture,
Dude, Jay is fucking out there, and that's so weird. We're a lot alike, dude, because I listen to artists, like, listen to all their albums all the way through, like Kanye. I've thought that, because I haven't actually listened. I've listened to a lot of Jay albums, but I haven't sit the time out. And I've tried, but I got distracted by other shit. Where I tried to listen to Jay all the way through, because he does have a lot of albums, so it is kind of hard. But yeah, he's one of those guys I still haven't done it. And I've had that exact thought where, like, I was like, I need to get on this, because he is so smart. His flow is weird, which works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely one of these days, bro. We gotta do a podcast just talking about music.
Music, dude.
I hate, because we're already like what?
1 hour 37 minutes. Fuck it, dude.
I
I'm gonna have to post this shit tonight, bro. I'm gonna have to.
I do have to get back to Mizzou.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay, I got
it's
you, dude.
7:47. But I hate just to cut it, because I know me and you will just be talking.
We
all
talking
night,
forever. It'd be a 3-hour podcast, dude.
Hey man, I've missed you so much.
Oh, dude,
Thank you
me
for
too,
giving
dude.
me a platform to speak.
Fuck yeah, dude. Thank you for coming. This is the most. I had, sorry to interrupt. I had my buddy on last, and we had a really great connection, dude. This is the best connection I've had with someone on my podcast.
Thank you, man.
Oh,
That's
fuck.
awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah,
That's
dude.
awesome.
Hell yeah. Go ahead, finish, bro. Finish what you're gonna say.
I was just gonna say, thank you for having me on, man. I
Oh,
really
yeah,
hope
thank
if
you.
y'all enjoyed me, feel free to support KyroPhantomProductions on YouTube. KyroPhantomProductions, all one thing. And I got about 3 videos on there. I would love if y'all checked out, watched, and dude, I love feedback. Like, I don't even care if it's bad feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least that
yeah.
shows me that you watched it and you have a critique for me. Like, it's one of those things. I'm getting used to, putting my stuff out there for people to judge, and I am definitely intrigued on people's thoughts. So this is a whole new venture for me. I'm so happy to see you doing this
Dude,
too with
hell
your
yeah,
podcast
man.
and everything,
Thanks,
bro.
bro.
Like, hey, we got
Dude.
this shit for real.
Thank you for coming, bro. I appreciate this shit, man.
Yeah, man. Of course.
Good seeing you, bro. For real.
Of course.
Hell yeah, dude. Dude, thank you.